The wait is finally over and I can reveal that for this year, 2021, I will be riding for giant bicycles. Some of you watching this video might be thinking, but Paul, I could have sworn I just saw a video where you told us that you don't have a bike sponsor for this year. And it was true, I didn't have a bike sponsor. But after putting that video out, Giant actually reached out to me, we had a chat, and now they're on board. In this video, I'm gonna show you how I built this thing up using my parts from Shimano, OneUp, and Kenda, and then I'll do a full bike check right at the end. But putting this thing together wasn't quite as easy as I hoped it would be. So let's jump to the garage and check out what happened. Whoa, hold on a minute. We've got to get this thing wrapped first. Before the Punter cave, I headed to Ridewrap in Whistler. Brought the bike, there's the complete. So I'm here with Scott and you're gonna wrap my bike, which is great. They've wrapped my bike for ages.
No, you said you were gonna come in and wrap it.
What? Okay, I guess you're right, let's go. All right, now it's not as daunting as a task as you might think. This is the protection kit. This is where you can pick up for pretty much any bike right now. And in the kit, you get a squeegee that helps the wrap actually sit on and get all the air bubbles out. And then they also include the solution, and all you have to do is mix that into a bottle of water with a spray bottle and spray it on. You also get a cloth to dry down the frame so it can go on nice and smooth. As we do a whole lot of shuttling over here in BC, I'm also gonna put on a shuttle armor piece, which is super useful. I've ruined so many bikes just by not having a bit of protection on here, and now they make this super thick pad to put on, which is rad. So the Ridewrap kit wasn't actually that hard to install. I have been intimidated by it, but as you can see, everything's dialed and pristine. But what you'll also notice is that none of these parts are mine. So let's change that now. I started off by installing the OneUp EDC tool into the steerer tube of my fork. I prefer to use the tapped version, which really isn't that big a deal to fit, and no, it doesn't affect the fork's warranty. The trick is to use some lubricating fluid and use the following technique: half a turn forward and a quarter turn back. That's the way we like to tap. Another tip here is to put some shop towel inside the other end of the steerer to catch the metal shavings. Once you're done tapping, turn the fork upside down and onto some more kitchen towel and wrap up everything so that you don't make a mess. I popped the fork into the frame with the OneUp stem and tightened it down using a cassette tool. As this Trance X Advanced Pro came as a complete bike, the internal routing for the gear and dropper post cables were already done. This means that I just had to put in the rear brake and we'd be done on the internal routing. I'd even popped onto Amazon and bought a routing tool that would make it even easier and have zero problems. So all that was left was to rely on my fantastic mechanical skills to get the job done. Okay, so official review, internal routing guide. It's like a -3 out of 10. Either the Giant carbon is somehow, it's just not working. Do I have a different idea? I do have a different idea. We're gonna throw this down here. It's just, look at this. It's just attaching to the cable that's already in there. So, we'll raise that to a 0 out of 10, I guess. Okay, that's fine. Push! Ah! No! Welcome back to first time install. Hope everyone is about to enjoy this moment of perfection. Oh. Welcome back, first time how to do internal routing. If you're looking for the best possible introduction to internal routing, this is it. You know when you see other people do stuff and you're like, there's no way I can do it that differently. This is one of those times, I think. What is it getting stuck on? You are kidding. You are the cable has gone down the inner, that's why. Oh! Welcome back to Internal Routing 101. So what you want to do, just feed it through completely effortlessly, like zero problems basically. And as you can see, with no trouble whatsoever, you can just pull it through and then, yeah, job's good. With the rear brake effortlessly fitted, I moved on to the cockpit. OneUp bars come stock as 800mm, so I cut them down to 780. Using great precision and safety awareness, I popped them into the cutting guide and carefully sawed off the ends. It's important to carefully clean up after this, as carbon dust can be pretty dangerous. But don't worry, I sprayed everything down to catch any final bits. To install the bars into the stem, you tighten down the top bolt so that there is zero gap. Wait, no, I said zero gap, not dabs. Oh, no. I popped on the XCR brake levers, the gear shifter, and the OneUp dropper lever before moving on to installing the 180mm dropper post. You thread a normal gear cable straight into the bottom of the post, thread that down the cable housing and tug it through at the lever end. Being careful to keep that tension, you slide the seat post into the frame, thread the cable through into the lever, and then tighten it down. And that's it. It's that simple to install this seat post. My absolute favourite thing about Shimano brakes is just how easy they are to maintain. For years, I have struggled with bleeding hydraulic discs and would never have had the confidence to install a pair. But with Shimano, it's just so simple. Now, this is how you install a pair of Shimano brakes. Figure out how long the hose needs to be, then use some cutters to chop off the end. Remember that the Shimano barb set tool also has a hose cutter on it, and you should have used that. Fix your mistake. When you've done this, pull out a fresh barb and use that really easy to use Shimano tool to drive the barb into the end of the hose. Unscrew the hose connector from the lever and fish out the reusable olive that comes inside it. Then put both of these over the brake hose and tighten down the connector. Question yourself, because what you've been doing so far has been really easy, and check that you've been doing it right by watching a Paul the Punter video on installing Shimano brakes. Realize that actually, yeah, you're nailing it, and carry on tightening down the connector. Slide over the cover, and that's it. Now it's time for the rear brake, and you don't make the same mistake as before and measure 18mm from the end of the brake lever to the cut line. Clamp the hose down and then use the tool to perfectly cut the hose right where you need to. Drive in the barb, slide over the connector and the olive just like before and insert it into the lever. Tighten it down and once again, you've nailed it. But this time, you actually did it the proper way. Next, I installed the chainring onto the crankset. Using the tool that comes with each crankset, I tightened down a 32-tooth chainring onto my XCR cranks. Pulling out a bottom bracket from my toolbox, I got a bit confused if this bottom bracket would actually fit my frame. So I did a pretty big brain thing and measured the shell. It's 89.5mm, and after actually reading the front of the box, it tells me that yeah, it would fit. I just need to put the spacer that's in the box between the frame and the drive side cup. Shimano have a fantastic press fit bottom bracket tool, and in no time at all, it's in. You just have to remember to make sure that each cup is going in square. Now, this is where my lack of preparedness got me unstuck. The wheels. I hadn't ordered a new free hub body for the giant wheels early enough, and it didn't come set up for micro spline out of the box. No problem, I thought. I've got some other wheels in the loft for just this occasion, and it did have the right free hub body. But these wheels just weren't an easy combo compared with the Kenda tyres, as they're really, really deep. So deep in fact, that I could barely get the tyres on. Realising that this combo probably wasn't going to work out, I gave up and put the tyres on the giant wheels, which took me about 20 seconds to do. Unluckily for me, no local shop had the free hub body that I needed. But luckily for me, Giant Canada is based just down the road in North Vancouver. The bad news was that I always do this kind of thing on a Saturday, and well, no one works on a Saturday. So in the meantime, I used a combo of both wheel sets to get everything installed. Yeah, I know, pretty big brain stuff going on here. I put the cassette on, installed the chain, set up the gears and fitted the pedals. Then on my giant wheels, I installed the discs and set up the brakes properly. All of this took no time because, well, Shimano. I slid in the EDC tool and closed my eyes to wait till Monday. And when I woke up, I discovered that the brand new Sponsor's Dream merch to celebrate this brand new bike has now been launched on my Trail Manos shop. Hit the link in the description and go and grab yourself one today before they're all gone. Now, I should probably check out that bike. I'm sure you'll agree that this thing looks amazing. So let's go through the parts and I'll tell you what I've got on here. Let's start off with the frame. I've gone with the Giant Trans X Advanced Pro. It's got 135 millimeters of travel on the rear and it comes with a 150 mil Fox 36 fork with a Grip 2 damper. In years past, I've had a lot of bikes and this year I wanted to slim that down to one do-it-all mountain bike. And that's what the Trance is. It's got a slack head tube angle, it's got a steep seat tube angle, and it's very roomy on the reach. The frame is fully carbon, including the front triangle and the rear triangle, and it uses Giant's Maestro suspension platform. And the frame comes with an adjustable chip where you can change the bottom bracket from a low to a high position that's going to change up your geometry. For the drivetrain, I've put on some Shimano XTR 12 speed. I've got a 51 tooth cassette at the back and a 32 tooth chainring on the front. My cranks are 170 mil. And this year, I've made the switch to Shimano pedals and I've got the XTR versions on this bike. For brakes, I've got the 4-pot XTR system with a 203mm rotor on the front and a 180mm rotor on the back. After trying out a few different options from Kenda, I've decided to go with the Hellcats on here for now, and I've got them in a 2.4 width and an AGC compound. And the best thing about Kenda being a sponsor of me and a partner on this channel is that if you live in the United States, you can click the link in the description below and use code PUNTER2021 to get 30% off a brand new set of tires. For the cockpit, I've got OneUp's handlebars cut down to 780mm, paired with OneUp's own grips and a 35mm stem. And slotted inside my steerer tube, I've got OneUp's EDC multi-tool. And for the dropper post, OneUp's 180mm dropper, which has the shortest insertion of any dropper post on the market. For wheels, they're 29 inches. I mean, what other wheel size is there? Come on. They are Giant's own TRX2s and they are made from carbon fiber. If it wasn't for everyone watching my videos, I wouldn't have these partners on board. And it means that I'm going to be able to make better videos for your entertainment. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. And if you aren't subscribed already, hit that button as well. Cheers, punters. I'll see you next time.